Last but not least, before we head on to this problem, I forgot to ensure something. Remember, we need to know the area of this entire trapezoid. Based on the areas that we got for every of the figures in this trapezoid, we need to ensure that all of these make the summation to the literal area or the original area of the literal trapezoid, which is right here. Ano yung area na kinuha namin? 81.405. Now, let's sum everything up to see if we got the same. Perhaps I have a handy calculator to help. You remember what's the measure here? What's the area here of the right triangle in this trapezoid? It's 29.48, diba? So, isulat namin sa calculator, 29.48. Plus, we have the right triangle here. We got 19.345. Did we get that? Yan. Area of right triangle in a triangle. So, 19.345. Plus, last but not least, yung dito sa baba ay yung itong quadrilateral area of quad, 32.58. Did we get the answer of 81.405? If you get the answer, then you are deliberately correct. So, all of these summations bring up to the summation of this entire area of this entire trapezoid. Now, what we need to do next is the area of this right triangle. But here's a catch. Did you know I forgot to mention that both of these sides here, the heights here, are congruent? Do you know why? Ganito kasi yung mangyayari. Do I remember, it says here that this angle measures 45 degrees. And then this one, if we were to play the Pythagorean theorem, you want to know why? Kasi what do I remember? It says 45 degrees here. And then when we get the height, do I remember this is 8.8. So 45, 45, and then 45, 45. And then, di ba remember, kapag nag-draw tayo ng right angle dito, this is 90, di ba? And this 40. This 90, di ba? And this 45. So what do you notice? It forms a square. So therefore, when we get the height here, we should get 4.4, di ba? Did we get 4.4 as we get the height? Dapat it should be half of 8.8. Yes, oo. So parang siyang kalahati lang. Kalahati lang to. So therefore, this is 4.4 centimeters. So therefore, ang height ay 4.4 centimeters. If the height were 4.4 centimeters, therefore, this should also be 4.4 centimeters din, di ba? So both 4.4. But remember, we need to ensure that all of the summations here must add up to this one, 15.5, which is the area of, which is the length of this one and this one. Because remember, the entire right isosceles triangle, we formed a, ano tawag dyan? It forms a 45, 90 degree triangle. So we expect that both of the legs must have congruent measures. Okay? So 4.4 plus 4.4 is 8.8. And 8.8 plus 6.7, di ba remember, tama yung sinabi ko, it's equivalent to 15.5. If I were to verify with a calculator, tama, we should get this measure. Now, if I were to use a ruler for this situation, let's see, we will still get the same measure. Lapit na. It's 4.5. This one, lapit na din. 4.5 din. Kaya okay lang yun. Although it's not perfect, pero okay lang yun. Okay, but we know we should get 4.4 here and 4.4 here. Okay? Now, can we solve for the perimeter of the trapezoid? Wait, not yet. Kasi po, what you call this, meron pa tayong dapat sabihin ko sa iyo. Kasi po, diba remember, if you look at this triangle here, look at the small one, ha? The small right triangle here. Remember, this is also a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. Kaya nga po lahat chain reaction to, ha? Ewan ko bakit. Kasi po, if you watch through my video about solve for the angles of this triangle, you know that everything measures 45, 45 degrees. That's why we don't need to play Pythagoras theorem, but you just understand the formula of 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. So therefore, what will you expect? You expect that this measure here must also be measuring 4.4 cm. So therefore, 4.4 to, 4.4 to. Now this one must be 4.4 times the square root of 2. Okay? So kung gagamitin ako si calculator, it would go like this. 4.4 times the square root of 2, you should get 6.222. 6.222 something. Okay? Kung nag-Pythagoras theorem tayo, we should get something like this. Then we take the square root of this. Yan. We still get the same answer of 6.222 something. To verify with the ruler, let's see if we got the answer right. Did we? Lapit na sana. It's still 6. Pero okay lang yan. Although it's not that drawn to scale. Pero we know that this is 6.2 cm. Okay? Oh, here's another catch. Look at the right triangle again. Remember, this is also 45, 45, and 90, diba? We have a right angle here, and then this is the hypotenuse. So would you expect that this line should also measure 6.2 cm din? If your answer is yes, you're still correct. So 6.2 then 6.2. Now all we need to do is to do 6.2 times the square root of 3. Oh yeah, di ba remember nakita mo to? This is supposed to be 9 meters. Pero if you see to our last problem, that's the measure. Pero, we're talking about the accurate measure. So therefore, we need to do 6.2 times the square root of 2. And we should get 8.76 something. Or 8.8. Let's see. Yan, 8.78. 8.7. Or we can say na lang, if I were to round it off to the nearest tens, that would be 8.8 na lang. So, 8.8 na lang to. Just like, parang kaparas lang oh. Parang just like the length of the trapezoid. So, therefore, this must measure 8.8. So, yan. Now, I think we've already have everything done. Now, we can already solve for the perimeter and area for everything. Uh-oh. I think we're still not yet done. You know why? Because remember, look at this. Remember, we got 6.2 here, and then we got 9.4 here. 9.4 is the measure from this line up to this line. On the other hand, the 6.2 is this line up to this line. You remember what was the measure of our hypotenuse? It should measure 22. So we should get 22 here. So therefore, it should be 6.2, summation of 6.2 plus 9.4. We sum this up together, and we should get 15.6. Now, 22 minus 15.6, this is 10. 11 minus 15 equals, ano to? 6. And then 1 minus 1, di 6 na lang to. 6.6. So, therefore, the measure of this guy must measure 6.6. Am I right? Almost. Yan! Almost na. Pero, di sakto. Pero okay lang yan. Kung na-Pythagoras theorem tayo, di ba this 4.4 and then 4.4 tayo dito. We got 6.2. Pero, remember, that's not the measure that we want. We want the one that fits in with this one. Kaya nga, you may not get accurate answers if you're always getting the approximate answer. If you just keep on rounding, hindi ka magkukuha ng accurate answer. Unless you use Microsoft Excel, mas mabilis. But since I'm not using Microsoft Excel for this problem today, we're just using these numbers na lang. Kung nag-Microsoft Excel ako, we will get the accurate answer. Kaya kung nag-STEM ka, it's really crucial or mandatory talaga to use Microsoft Excel. Pero since I'm not a STEM student, hindi na kailangan mo Excel. Of course, I know naman, I use Excel sometimes. But for now, I'm not in the mood. Pero okay lang yan. Now, let's sum everything up. Did we get 22? 9. Yeah, that's not 6.6. That's 6.4 pala. Because 9.4 and then 6.4. So, dapat this is 6.4. Or to be frank, para congruent sila, dapat this should be 6.3. 6.3. And then this one, 6.3 na lang. And then 8.8. We'll just have to apply Pythagorean theorem again. But I know this is still 8.8. Pero kung nag-Pythagoras theorem pa ako, 6.3 times the square root of 2, it's 8.9. So tama, it's more like 8.9 na talaga. Iba talaga yung value. So there's a typical change. Pero okay lang yan. But you know naman, when you get to STEM, they will have to do with accuracy. Okay? Pero never mind, I'm not that accurate. Now let's solve for the area. By the way, do you still remember what's the area of the literal triangle? The area of the literal triangle is, ano yung area na kinuha namin? The area of the whole triangle. And the area of the whole trapezoid. Do you remember the area of the whole trapezoid is 81.405. And we know the area of the entire triangle is 120.125. So we want to get the area of the entire triangle, the remnant triangle, we should subtract 120, we should subtract 81.405 minus 120. And ano yung answer na kinuha namin? 120, 125 minus... Di ba remember meron tayong formula dito? So therefore, that should be our answer. The area of the triangle in a triangle, the large one is 38.72. Ayan, di ba remember meron tayo dito, area of medium triangle? Kasi po this one here, kasi po, you will encounter 3 right triangles here in this large right triangle. This is small, this is medium, this is large. But, so therefore, I have to differentiate. So we're talking about the medium. So sinabi ko, area of medium. So tama nga, it's 38.72. Now let's start solve for the area of each. To solve for the area of each, this is how we're gonna do it. We have 8.8. We have this one, the area of the trapezoid. Kung gagawin namin to, we should do this. Sum of the two bases together, di ba? 4.4 plus 8.8 equals 13.2. Then 13.2 times 4.4 divided by 2. So therefore, ang gagawin namin, 13.2 times 2.2 na lang para mas madali. So this should be 2.64 and 264. And then 4, 9, 2. So 29.04. Yes. Okay? So therefore, area of trapezoid in mid triangle is, what's the answer? 29.04. That is the one here. Now, if we're asked to get the area of this triangle that you see here, or isusulat namin dito. So therefore, 29.04. So, kung kunin tayo yung area dito, we just have to subtract. What's the area of the medium triangle? 38.72, diba? So, 38.72 minus 29.04. We should get 12 minus 4 is 8. 6 minus 0 is 6. And then, no need to cancel anything, diba? So, 8 minus 9 cannot be. So, therefore, this will have to be 9. So, therefore, ang area ay 9.68. So, therefore, the area of this one is 9.68 cm squared. Okay? Now, let's sum this all up to see if we get the exact area. Check with the calculator to verify it. Okay? We need to have our answers verified. Kung mali yung sagot, it wouldn't be fair. Or let's say, let's try to do 4.4 times 4.4 and then divide by 2. Or try mo kaya, do you think we will still get 9.68? Let's see. Let's see about that, folks. Moment of truth. 4.4 times 2.2, 8, 8, 8, 8. Diba? Thank the Lord! Salamat sa Diyos! We got 9.68. You see? Tamang-tama. Kinuha pa tayong tamang sagot. Now, let's see if we get the total summation of the area of the figures. The one in the right triangle and the trapezoid. We should, what is our area? 38.72, diba? So, let's see if we got it. So, 29.04 plus, ano yun? 9.68. Tama, we should get this answer of 38.72. Now, what about of the trapezoid? We need to add it with 81.05. 405 pala. Yan! We got it! And that's how we got the area of every triangle in this game. Phew!